And I think this is quite an interesting metaphor because I think even if you haven't experienced an earthquake or even if you haven't experienced infant loss, you can understand the devastation of a whole city being thrown about and houses falling down, buildings falling down, people being scared and frightened and not knowing what's going on. And then, the city trying to rebuild itself. And whether it takes a couple of weeks or a couple of months or even a couple of years or decades, you're slowly going to start to rebuild that city. And, people from the outside might look onto that city, might look into your life and think, oh, that's a perfectly fine city. We don't see the history, we don't see the devastation, we don't know the story, we don't know what happened. And I think it's kind of sad, but also interesting that this city, your life, is never going to be the same again. Whatever was there beforehand is not the same. So maybe your faith has changed, your belief system has changed slightly, maybe your friendships have changed, maybe your job has changed, maybe your education and your knowledge has changed. All of these different things change, and it might feel scary and daunting and terrifying that this thing has just rocked your entire world and your city is flat or it's crumbling or it's really struggling. But actually, with the right people around you, when you get new friends moving in, building their house, and they're helping you build your life again, it's okay if your life looks different. It's okay if your city looks slightly different. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. I think it just means that it takes time. And I don't know if I've explained that well, but in my mind it makes sense because, when we look at something like an earthquake and the devastation it can cause, people have a lot of sympathy for that, obviously, because you can see, in the news and the videos and things like this, you see the destruction and the pain that people are going through. And I think sometimes with infant loss, it's really hard to tell people who haven't been through infant loss, hey, this is what it's like. And I think this was kind of the closest metaphor I could think of these past couple of days, where it's like, how can we explain the amount of devastation and pain and change and rebuilding that needs to take place? I think sometimes when it's somebody's internal world, oftentimes with infant loss, there isn't a birth, if it's nearly miscarriage, not many people know, so it's all secretive. And it's hard for people to understand, and it's hard for you to express just how much you've been through, because it's all in here, it's all in your head and in your heart and in your body and in your life and your world. And for outsiders looking in, they might think, oh, they've got a really nice city, they've got a really nice life, everything seems fine. Whereas actually for you, things might have changed. And